Thank you, guys. Thank you for waiting. I just finished my teaching in the office hour and pick up Peter and just be home and grab a cup of water, and then it's just the right time.
Well, perfect timing. It worked out just right.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't prepare my my PowerPoint because we just finished the part of the big portion of the data analysis. So so far I'm working with two Chinese professors on the big projects to try to investigate the Chinese language learner and Chinese instructors practices and perceptions towards the online teaching during the COVID-19. So this is a global survey. We already connected about data for 2 months. No, not 2 months, like 5 months. So far, we received 246 responses from the students learning Chinese as a foreign language from 25 countries. And the preliminary research has been presented in the conference in the summertime and submitted to a journal. And what I'm doing right now, I'm very interested in the comparison study between the Chinese language learner study, Chinese language learner between US and China. And so I thought it's worth to understand what are the differences of Chinese and the United Chinese language learners' perceptions and experience of the online learning during COVID-19. So I checked the data from the survey, and then I'm very interested to know what are the differences on the specific variables. So I want to know what are the differences of the Sino-US Chinese learner satisfaction towards online learning, and what are the differences of the Sino-US Chinese learners' self-perceived learning effects comparing with online on-site learning during COVID-19, and also their differences of their willingness of taking fully online Chinese courses in the future. And also I want to know what type of questions in their online learning during the COVID-19. So those are 4 basic questions that I'm very interested in. So I checked the data and used 173 students responses to analysis. And so far I already run, maybe can I share the screen?
You should.
Or, I have some tables. Maybe it doesn't matter. Okay, so I run a 3-way ANCOVA. I used country, gender, Chinese courses level as independent variable, and use the student's self-perceived satisfaction as a dependent variable, and the diversity of their previous Chinese language courses they have taken as a covariant. And this 3-way ANCOVA showed no significant. That means no matter student in China or student in the United States, there's no differences towards their satisfaction. So that means that's fine. To this kind of learning experience during COVID-19, both country students feel the same. Okay, so the second data analysis I did is another 3-way ANCOVA. I used the country, gender, Chinese courses level, and as the dependent variable, and their self-perceived learning effects comparing with the on-site learning as the dependent variable, and their diversity of their previous Chinese language courses as covariant. So this analysis showed a significant result on the main effect of the country. That means students who learned Chinese in China perceived almost the same learning effects comparing with their on-site learning. But in the United States, our Chinese language learner viewed the online learning less effective than on-site. So this is a significant result I found so far. And then I run another 3-way ANCOVA, change the dependent variable to be their willingness to take fully online Chinese courses in the future. And I found the significant result on the main effect of the gender. but that's not the result I would like to use in my paper, because this paper gonna focus on the country comparison, not a gender comparison. Okay, so that's a first turn of my data analysis. And then I got some categoric data, like whether they already took some non-Chinese fully online courses, or what type of Chinese courses they have taken before, whether they already took a face-to-face course, whether they already took a hybrid Chinese before, you know, and also whether they prefer to take a face-to-face in the future, or whether they prefer to take a synchronous online course or asynchronous online course in the future. So for this kind of data, I use the chi-square to analyze. The significant result showed on the 2 rounds. First one, I found that students in US prefer to take a face-to-face Chinese courses in the future. So this is a kind of correlation I already ran that found if the student got the higher self-perceived satisfaction, they prefer to take an online course. But if their satisfaction is a little showed lower comparing with the on-site learning, they prefer to take the face-to-face course. So this chi-square found this significant result. And another chi-square test also found a significant result. Student in China prefer to take synchronous, student in China prefers to take synchronous Chinese courses in the future. So this answer also supported my previous ANCOVA answer that US student viewed the online learning, student learning Chinese language in China perceived almost the same learning effects comparing with online learning, on-site learning. So that they thought, okay, in the future, I still prefer to take the synchronous online course. So this kind of result just triangulated each other. So, and we have open-ended question. We coded an open-ended question, which we ask a student, what kind of problems you encountered in your online learning? And finally, we grounded 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 things or factors. So besides no problem and other problems, so there are 4 primary factors. Those are pretty interesting. First one is technology and online learning environment. Students complain, internet, a Wi-Fi connection, and a slow connection, or they feel due to the differences of the online environment, they run into a lot of problems. And also they mentioned the online learning caused the mental, like hurt eyes and this kind of a body sore. Those are all grounded into this factor, technology and online learning. And the second interesting factor is student learning effects. So in this category, we have some static category like a student thought during the online learning, they feel they get a less interaction with their peers and their teachers. That means they don't have meaningful interaction. They need more interactions, and they lack of speaking practice, pronunciation correction not enough, and they didn't get enough character writing practice, and they thought that the online learning is ineffective, and also they thought the lack of listening practice. All of those are grounded into the factor as a student learning effects. And next, the factor is student motivation and attitude. So in this category, student mentioned, I don't have motivation to keep learning, and I cannot catch up with the time, I cannot push myself. So their lack of self-discipline. And student also mentioned, it's so bored to online, it's not fun, I cannot just sit in front of the computer, I feel bored. And also a lot of students mentioned, okay, I cannot focus on the learning, I have this kind of concentration problem, my attention got distracted during my online learning. So that's a big portion too.
2 minutes to wrap up.
Yeah, it's almost done. Yeah, sure. And then next, the big part of the problem is the instructor's online teaching. So student mentioned that our instructor cannot figure out my problem, cannot give me clear instruction, and disorganized the instruction, unbalanced the material, and unclear the instruction, and even they complained that their teacher gave them overloaded assignments. That's a way can make up their what they missed in the in-class teaching. So those are all big categories we already grounded. And then next step, what I want to do is to use the Mann-Whitney U-test to analyze the key problem to say, okay, comparing to US and China, what are the differences between those students on the open-ended question? So for example, I want to say, okay, why did our US student complained a lot of online teaching and figure out teaching is not as satisfied as their face-to-face class? Maybe it's a problem of our instructors online teaching practice, or Chinese students thought, okay, our teacher's instruction is perfect. I just don't have strong motivation to learn. So that's my next step I want to do. So this is just what I'm doing right now. Well, so sorry, I just submitted this abstract to a journal and waiting for their acceptance, and then we're gonna write a fully paper. Okay, thank you and welcome. Any comments?